Hold on.
Damn, son,
Are
where'd
you
you
just
find
testing something?
this?
No, we live.
Rock with your boys.
I didn't have time to send the invite out, so you gotta just talk while I'm doing that.
All right. So we live, y'all. And this is gonna just be one of our you know, the day before the draft video, our last words. So you're looking live at Generation and Generation Cowboys and Sports Talks. I'm the host, joined with my dad, my co-host. This is our YouTube channel. We live on YouTube, we live on TikTok, we live on Facebook, uh, and we're live on Twitch, I believe. So yeah. Um my dad's sending the link out right now. I'm finna do the same actually. But yeah, man, I know a lot of nerves are high right now. I know mine's are. This is a time, where things get real and we're trying to, narrow it down and try to come up with the best case scenario. Try to see what our Cowboys are going to do. Who they're going to draft. Or are they going to do the right thing and draft like a good team? Or are they going to pull a what the heck move? It comes down to a few of those things. And so we just trying to, keep it together. And hopefully we'll all be celebrating tomorrow. Um, I know I got a few people. Actually, I'm gonna share this too. Brian Brothers put his list out there, his board out there on 1053thefan.com. So I'm gonna post it today and show y'all. We can post it today. Shout out to Broadus, and we can post it today in here and see what all he got and see if what he's thinking falls in line with what we're thinking, and also he's close to the organization, so he doesn't, he has his picks up here for a reason, he's highly connected, I would say. So we should probably be listening to what someone like him, John Machota, says. People like that. John Machota actually works for the Cowboys, right?
No, John Machota's a beat writer.
So he's just a beat writer for the Cowboys, right? That's what he is.
Yeah, yeah.
So John Machota had some interesting things to say today, and I believe him 100%. And
what did he say?
he was just talking about some of the comments that Jerry made in the press conference. Jerry had made a comment about the trade not being something that is not going to be foreign, and that they might be looking for a trade, but he's not going to be picking up the phone trying to trade back. And what John Machota's take on that was, that wasn't good to say, because it just shows that, a team that hasn't won a Super Bowl or got to an NFC championship or won a second playoff game. And then I want to push the narrative. We need to stop saying that we haven't won a Super Bowl or that we haven't got to an NFC championship in 20 years. Let's just say the bare minimum. Let's say we haven't won a second playoff game in 30 years. So that's it, because that sounds even worse. Because if you say you haven't won a Super Bowl, or you say you haven't won an NFC championship, it makes it seem like you even got close to one of those things. You haven't even gotten close. You haven't won a second playoff game in 29 years. So when you say that you don't want to call, it's just like you're just showing that you're still not being aggressive, and that you think that things are just going to fall in your lap. Dan Broadus asked him, hey, you think with a good draft that we could be close to the Philadelphia Eagles? And then John Machota was just like, oh no, heck no, there's no way possible. He was just like, he made a good point. He was just like, the way that the Eagles are running their organization right now is probably the best ran franchise in all of sports, not just the NFL. The way that they are aggressive, and that they don't always hit on their players and when they're aggressive, but what they do is they find a way to get out of the mistakes that they make pretty quick. And so, what they are doing is very annoying to Cowboys fans, because what they're doing is exactly what you would want to see your front office do if they were, you would want to see your front office do some of those things, being that they haven't won a second playoff game in 29 years. So, we're going to see. They haven't been aggressive, so to speak. They did what Steven is calling, we added volume to our team. He couldn't just, that's not what we wanted. That's not what the fans want to see. That's not what the fans want to see. The fans want to see something special, like Amari Cooper. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they want to see. You know what I'm saying? We don't really want to see what we seen, but that's just doing the bare minimum, and that's just keeping our nose above water, so to speak. So maybe in the draft we can get those dynamic uh game changing players
Yeah.
that you know will literally will make those off season acquires really like
So
nothing. You know what I mean? Like if we get a
yeah,
running back, those running backs that we got in that off season, we're not going to even know who they are. So it's just like
yeah. So my thing is, I think with Jama's shoulder with the comment that we're not even close to the Eagles,
Mhm.
I disagree with that. I think we absolutely can. This draft can put us right there competing with them. I just think that we what we've been saying is if you tell me I got Dak, CD, Micah, Bland, uh, Osa, Tyler Smith, if our guys stay healthy for 17 games and we have a good draft, and some of the players we're going to talk about here in a minute, and you need to tell people what we're going to be doing tomorrow for the draft. But if we have a good draft, we can compete with the Eagles. You got to keep in mind, look at what Washington did last year. I think our team, if we had the players that I just mentioned, we're in the NFC Championship game instead of the Commanders. So, and that game was competitive, like for the first half. So I disagree with him wholeheartedly that we can't get close to being competitive with them. At some point, you got to just turn the ship around and just do good things and put your franchise in a position to do that. But so I think we can. I want to talk about some of the rumors we've been hearing about some of the trades. I want to ask you about this.
Okay.
So one of the rumors is that the Steelers are looking to trade Pickens, and so I wanted to get your thoughts on him. Myself, I would rather just have Ted Golden or Ibuka than Pickens because, and I'm gonna contradict myself. I've always said that we can't have a team with a bunch of choir boys, but just kind of my thought, he's just not a good dude. I don't think he would be just a good fit with our team. I think it would just be drama at some point. So that wouldn't be something that I would be in favor of. And then I'm gonna contradict myself again. If you tell me the Cowboys are not drafting a receiver tomorrow, and my choices are Tolbert, Mingo, and CD, if you told me I had Pickens for 1 year, I would be good with that. But I would rather draft a receiver than trade for him. What are your thoughts?
Uh, I agree with that 100%. But but see, like I said, what I'm doing is me personally, I'm gonna be structuring my team to where I'm drafting a receiver and I'm trading for George Pickens. That's what I would be doing. I would be trying to
Yeah.
sign him and draft a receiver because the draft pick that I'm going to be giving the Steelers for him is not going to be 1 through 3.
But
So
but would you rather have you draft a receiver and have George Pickens, or you ain't got to do anything? You can just sign Keelan Allen or Amari Cooper out the street.
yeah, that and sign George Pickens. Yeah, but yeah, I just want playmakers here. So if that's Keenan
Yeah,
Allen and Amari Cooper, or if that's just Keenan Allen or just Amari Cooper or
yeah,
just George Pickens, but like these receivers is top heavy. So you're going to be able to get somebody like Jalen Noel probably in the 4th round, I would think, or not necessarily him, but somebody
yeah,
like that in the 4th round. Like you got those other guys, like the one from TCU, not Savion, but Jack Bash. No,
yeah. And
probably
we,
3rd
yeah,
round.
and remember we don't have a fourth, but I understand what you're saying. So
You
I
might
think
be able
that
to
I
snag
think
one.
you might get back one if you trade down, but I think the idea is that, um, you know, to me we're top heavy at receiver. Myself, I would just rip the band-aid off and just redo my receiver room altogether. So I would
Like
be interested.
if I had George Pickens and Tez, I'd be okay.
Yeah. So I would be in favor of just redoing the entire receiver room. However, we know they're not going to do that. And then today I've been hearing that there are a lot of teams trying to trade down, but they're finding that it's 70 cents on the dollar. Teams are just not want to allow you to trade down and they want to give you peanuts. So what we may have happen is what we've been talking about in our last couple of shows. You might just be taking your picks with no trade down. It's an absolute possibility. And I want to ask you, and you had talked about him earlier when we were doing our shows, the corner from Michigan. It seems like I first remember you saying you liked him, but then you came back and you said you were not sure. Will Johnson, because Brian brought us, and I'm let you finish talking about what brought us said today. But on the draft show, I listened to it today. He was thinking that a fallback position for them at 12 will be Will Johnson. So, what do you think about that? And there's some rumors that he's got a knee thing. He's refusing to run or refused to run. So if you just had to have him on the team, so where are you at on that?
Man, we're kind of. I'm the reason why I was like ahead on him, and then I kind of pulled back is just because of like what Broadus was saying, just about the injury. So when I heard about his injury thing, I was like, okay, well, I don't know about 12, and then over the rest of the players, like over Ted, and then over Golden and then Buka. But then I heard about how he didn't run the combine, and I'm just like, okay, so you know what they say. It's just like it, he got the injury thing, then he didn't he didn't run in the combine, and I'm like, all right, it's just too many questions for me to just say, oh, I want you at 12 over Ted. I want you at 12 over the other players. I just want somebody at 12. I don't want to have no questions. I want them to be
But how do you
full.
think he will play if we got him? Is he your starter day one? And is
Yeah.
he gonna ball, or do you have some issue? Just what I'm just saying, what are you about him as a player?
No, when you
Is
draft
he
him,
gonna ball?
if you, in my opinion, if you draft him, he might be the best corner on your team.
Okay, so yeah, that's
He
where
might
what I
not
was trying to get at.
not only might he be the best corner on your team, he might be one of the best players on your team. Top three.
Hey, can you pull up him on Tankathon so we can look at him?
Yeah,
Cause
it's just like he's one of those players that when you look at him on Tankathon, it's just like you just be like, oh wow, like he's just that special.
so why everybody has questions about his speed? So what's
I
what's
don't
what's
know
up
what
with that?
it's just because he got that injury thing because his speed when some of his highlights and you'll see right here some of his highlights or plays where he's not even involved. The highlight is him running down somebody. That's how fast he
So
is.
why are they talking about his speed and he won't run? It's
Because
interesting.
that is very interesting, and it's hurting his stock. So it
Yeah.
ain't like it's just somebody, but nah,
Yeah.
some of his you'll see. I'm gonna play it right now. It's a play.
Obviously, football speed is a different thing.
But he be just like he is he's something else. You know, when I first watched him, I was like, oh yeah, okay, I see why, because he just look at him though. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna watch this play in a minute. He come up, he hit. You know what I'm saying? He a dog. He got that Jade Baron Golden type. Look at that. That's just. I mean, come on now. Look at that. I kept having to rewind that play because I was just like, yeah, that's a hell of a job right there. Look at that. Watch this.
So when Brian
Watch this.
Broaddus makes a comment like that, obviously, he's hearing something. And let me say this, and we're gonna talk about this on the draft. Here's where I am, and we've gone back and forth on this draft. Some of the content creators that we follow, they got like a civil war going on.
See this
And,
hit
and
on
yeah,
blue.
yeah, I see it. So they got like a civil war going on in a good way. It's not they're not getting personal. Everybody just real passionate about it. But the argument is weapons or O line, and so the thing that's kind of slipping through the back door.
I'm gonna win to pause you, but you know who
Yeah,
that is. Watch how he walking down. Please.
that's
Watch how he walk.
golden.
Yeah. So let's
Where,
watch
where
how he
show
walk.
that again?
I think that might be blue, but let's walk how he walk him down though. Yeah. No.
That was in the Texas game.
Yeah, it was, and he came from across the field. So that's his speed. If you want to, that's why I said some of these plays are just that, or just him, just him starting from over there, bad angle, and just flat out running past everybody and stopping it. He's
Yeah.
fast.
So the civil war with the content creators. So shout out to all of the great content creators, and we definitely trying to link up with them, as much as we can over the next few months. But it's a healthy debate about O line versus the weapon. But what's slipping through the back door is the fact that the front office really put us here in this argument, because if they had taken care of business in the 23 and 24 draft, I was talking about this to Lou as well, the O-line thing would have been already done. They could have already had Matthew Bergeron on the roster, Barton on the roster. They could have had Osiris Torrance. He would already be on the team.
And
You,
also to add to your point, I mean, cut you off. You know, we've been saying this on our show since day one. Not even with the draft, the Cowboys don't use all of their resources. The front
they don't
office
use
just
free agency, yeah.
they don't do that. I
Oh,
mean, how many other teams would just go out there and sign a guard?
yeah. And pull up while we're doing this. Pull up Jalen Walker. Okay,
And
and
we're gonna have to
so
look at Mike Green too, because I've been hearing about that.
we can look at Michael Green. But where I was going with that, the thing that's slipping through the back door on this whole argument, Will McClay and Stephen Jones, we better understand they may not go O line or weapon. What they may end up doing is Shamar Stewart or Walter Nolan. Okay, and we got a lot of people in the content creating world. The smoke is already there. This time last year, all of the content creators, including people, legacy media too, they were talking about Tyler Guyton being a possible pick, and everybody was saying, do not pick this player. That's what everybody was saying. Well, now you're hearing the same thing about Shamar Stewart and Walter Nolan. So where I'm going with that is this. If we end up with Will Johnson instead of Walter Nolan or instead of Shamar Stewart, I want a receiver, I want a weapon, but I'm good. It is what it is. If we end up with Jalen Walker instead of is it Jalen Walker or Michael Williams? I get them always mixed up. Which one of the players do they like at 12? Which one is it?
It's Jalen
I
Walker.
get them mixed up. So is he number 11?
Yeah.
If we end up with Jalen Walker instead of Walter Nolan or Shamar Stewart, we gotta just take our win and go home. And I know Henny, Landlord, CFT, J Tuck, shout out to them. They all on the weapon side of the argument. So what I would say to them, if we end up with Jalen Walker or Will Johnson instead of Shamar Stewart and Walter Nolan, which I think will be disastrous picks, then we're going to just cut our losses and get ready for round 2 and round 3. So I'm for anybody except Walter Nolan and Shamar Stewart. So your thoughts?
Anybody except those two, and I don't even care if it is O line. I'm cool with it being Booker. I'm cool with it being
Well, yeah. If it ends up being Booker or
Josh Simmons.
Josh Simmons, and with Simmons, let's just get this out the way here right now. If we end up with Josh Simmons, he's your starting left tackle day one. Guyton is moving to right tackle, and he's getting ready for 26. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Josh Simmons is a day one starter at left tackle.
Yep.
Tyler Guyton can draft and develop a right tackle. He can be the swing tackle maybe. But
Whatever.
And also, I'm not cutting Steele. I'm not doing anything with Steele.
I mean,
for Tyler Guyton.
Not nope.
So yeah, so that's that. But yeah, if we end up with Booker, Josh Simmons, it's a win. Obviously, I prefer Ted. I prefer.
I'm even cool with Kenneth Grant. I'm cool with that.
Let me tell you the problem. Let me tell you the problems I have with Edge. What were you saying?
I said over Walter Nolan. Kenneth Grant.
Well, yeah, I would take Kenneth Grant over those two guys I mentioned. Here's a concern I have with Grant is we got Micah. He gonna get his snaps at Edge. Then you got Sam. This is a contract year for Sam. Okay. Mm-hmm. You drafted Nealon, and maybe we can talk about Nealon. I'm still scratching my head on that pick. And you got Dante Fowler. He had 10 sacks last year. So if you draft an edge, he's going to be battling for playing time. And so I just think that you don't use the resource there. What are you saying? This is Jalen Walker?
Mm-hmm. If you draft an edge, it's just like, how Nico is tone deaf. It's just like you kind of like tone deaf to what this team actually needs. It's just like if you draft edge, it's just like you just like
And
you're
then
not
Jalen Walker,
even.
is he a edge or is he an off-ball linebacker? Or is he just both?
He's just both. That's gonna be it. Micah made a new position because all of these
Yeah,
players that play edge, they also play linebacker too. When you look it up on Tankathon, it says
yeah.
LB/edge.
And what I've been saying about a lot of these guys, they wouldn't be my preference, but I'm just looking for ballers. I'm looking for football player. To get this guy right here is a baller.
He's a
He's a
baller.
player. So
He's a
on
baller.
Sunday, I'm just figuring out if you're Matt Eberflus, okay, here are the players that we got. You figure it out. I want these. I want Jalen Walker on the field doing damage, and I think he'll do that.
This is Mike Green.
In the white, he plays.
Mhm.
He goes for Tulane.
Is this Tulane? The white and
Yeah, that's
green? That's
Tulane.
Marshall.
Oh, is it Marshall?
Yeah,
He plays for Marshall.
yeah, and he's
I
a
love that
edge.
mascot. He
He's a
kind of looks like a
edge.
Randy Gregory starter kit.
3-4 edge, outside linebacker type of deal. He looks just like
He,
Sam Williams and
he's
Marshall
a he's
Needle.
yeah he's an edge.
So picks like this, I'm not in favor of because we already
Yeah.
have 3 of him.
Yeah, I just think it'll be a waste of resource. I mean, you just
Goodness
don't
gracious, that was
you don't need an edge.
nah.
You got so many things that you're trying to get done. You just, I mean,
Oh,
he will be and he will be a starter at some point, but
I think he would be a starter kind of close to day
he
one.
might be. So again,
Whoa.
that's kind of what you're looking at. So again, if this is the pick, I'm not throwing my headset. I'm like, let's just line up and play. And he gonna play and he gonna play well. So at this
Yeah,
point, like I said,
the problem with these type of picks is he's going to be better than Marshawn Nealon and Sam Williams on day one.
yes, and we're gonna go back and I'm gonna ask you again and ask people that's listening to our show and watch our show,
Ooh,
why did we pick Marshawn Nealon? That pick still right today makes no sense.
this
None.
guy, this guy right here is good. Why did they pick Mozzie? Why did they pick Schoon? None of that
Well,
makes sense.
we
Why
not
did they
gonna
pick Guyton?
yeah, I mean,
Like,
I've
that was
been
just
chatting with some
dumb.
people on Twitter all day today, and people are kind of focusing in on that. Brian brought us on 105.3 The Fan today. What
Mhm.
they were talking about this evening, what they were saying was Will McClay is under the gun. Will McClay cannot have
Mhm.
three bad drafts in a row. And my pushback to that is number one, Will McClay just got a new contract. Number
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Number two, Will McClay, there's it's a GIF. Is it a GIF or a GIF?
A gift.
So it's a GIF of Homer Simpson. Have you ever seen it? He's like sitting in front of some bushes and he just fades into the bushes.
Yeah.
That's Will McClay.
Man, we've been, you know, we've been, we kind of just trying to we try to be positive
And
over here
boy,
on this show.
people, when you talk about Will McClay on
Oh
Twitter,
my
boy, they be
God.
ready to fight.
People, oh my man. Remember how I told you some people I just don't entertain. I just be like, okay, we're not gonna ever. If you come in here and you talking about to me that Will McClay is a genius and all of this, at that point right there, our conversation about the Cowboys is over. We're not talking
Well,
about it no more because it's just like that's just not true,
but
man.
what they say, they gonna point out Bland, they gonna point out just other people. But and look, we don't have nothing against the guy, but the point is, my problem that I have with Will McClay is when we don't have when our draft picks don't pan out, Steven gets to blame, Jerry gets to blame, and I'm hearing people talk about the scouts. The scouts, he's ahead of scouting. Okay, you can't tell me that we have a board that's put together that doesn't have its final approval. I still want to know how in the world did Schoonmaker get on our board where he was?
I hate when people say he found Zach Martin. He did not find Zach Martin. He didn't
I ain't
find
heard
Michael
nobody say
Parsons.
that.
He
No.
didn't. He's not responsible for CD Lamb. This is not. He's
He's
not.
had some good picks like Deron Bland. Also ended up being a good pick. You can go through and the argument that they will make is you can say this about every general manager you can, but the difference between us and other general managers is we have no NFC championship game in 30 years. Like you said, we haven't won a second round playoff game in 30 years. That's the difference. That's the
And then
thing that
also the
nobody
other.
talks about.
Then also other difference is these misses that he has are terrible. And it's just like people are saying over and over
Yeah.
again, like you do not make this pick, and he does it.
And the problem with our team is you can't have these kind of misses when you're not signing any free agents.
Any free
Your
agents.
scouts and your scouting and your drafting has to be impeccable. When you got a chance to draft Sam Laporta, you can't take Mozzie. Okay.
Oh
When you
man,
got a chance to draft Devin Achan, you had a chance to draft Bergeron. We can go back all through these drafts and look at the players that they could have taken, and we're already competing with the Eagles and the Commanders. But like right now, we got this discussion about taking a left tackle with our first pick.
this is
That's
Shamar Stewart,
because
and you know that's because what?
the guy you took last year, your left tackle. It's a lot of discussions about him, just like Duke Manyweather, the comment that he made the other day.
Oh, I got
It,
something to
it,
say about that.
it looks like maybe Guyton is not working with him anymore. I don't, so, but bottom line is, it's a fair statement to say that was just a questionable pick, and we're not the only ones saying it. There are people that study the draft, offensive line gurus. They were saying this before the draft.
Duke Manyweather, when he said that, that just lets you know that this new Cowboys regime and they coaches, they not playing, and these guys are not their picks, and they not wasting no time with these guys. It's just like if Guyton is not ready to play, he's just not going to be playing. And if Mozzie
Well,
is not ready to play, oh
what may
well.
be happening too is with the new coaches, they may be telling their O line guys that they want to just work with them exclusively and not have them go to Duke. So that may be kind of the new thing. We got to think about that too. But be that as it may, now Shamar Stewart, I'm just not seeing it, fam.
Mm-mm.
I mean, my thing is, again, if you take him, he has no sacks. He just doesn't have a production. And what you're going to be doing, this is another phenomenon that the Cowboys do repeatedly. They take their first round pick, and what ends up happening is their second, third, and fourth round picks end up being better.
You
They first,
cannot you cannot take an edge at a position that you don't need that has 1.5 sacks on the season.
and what's going to happen if they draft him? What they're going to say, the same thing happened with Taco, because Taco, he just couldn't break into the lineup. He wasn't a good player. Um, the same thing with Mozzie. What they're going to be saying about Shamar Stewart, if you draft him, probably the same thing with Walter Nolan. They're going to be saying he needs 3 years to develop.
No, fam.
But their second round pick, their third round pick, if they take a running back, if they take, linebacker, whatever the case may be, in the second and third round, they take another defensive tackle in the third round, I can tell you right now, they're going to be playing better and faster than Shamar Stewart. We're going to be sitting here 2 years from now saying, well, he needs 3 years is how long it takes you to develop.
They
No.
draft a DT in the second round, third round this year. That dude gonna be playing better than Mozzie.
If they take Tyleek Williams or Collins. Now, I heard today that, and I didn't know this, Walter Nolan is a 3. So that's also you don't need to draft a 3. So again, this pick would not make any sense.
Mm-mm.
So
It wouldn't.
what we are hearing, and I want to get your thoughts on this, is kind of what we're hearing is Tet is not going to be there at 12. So is that kind of what you're hearing?
Yeah. But it's many ways that he can be there. But see, we just got a Bleacher Report just announced that Carolina is saying that they're most likely to trade out of the 8th pick. Something like that happens, he'll be there.
Well,
Because ain't no other team that's gonna take him besides San Francisco.
well, the Saints are the team that's going to take him.
They should be taking Shador.
I predict the Saints. It's going to be Carolina first, the Saints, and then obviously the backdoor team is San Fran. Now, San Fran, you're showing right here, is taking Mikael Williams. That would make sense for them. Where they got Will Johnson going, because
Right after us.
so he done fell down to 13. So what you got right here? Let's look at this. So what do you think the possibilities of this tankathon mock being on point? You see anything that's just out of line?
I don't see. I can see the Raiders trying to trade up and get Ashton, and I don't see Tyler Warren going to the Jets. I see them trying to get Mimbu, and then I
Yeah.
see uh I don't see the Lions. I mean the Saints taking Mason Graham. I think that Kellen is gonna want like a playmaker, like off top for his offense.
I want Ted or Tyler Warren.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I see. I
Unless you
see.
like Golden.
Yeah, I see something like that. I see him trying to get Tyler Warren, or one of them. And then, Ted, what's gonna happen is, Ted might get taken and Tyler Warren might still be there because it's just like, people want Ted,
We're not hearing any smoke with Tyler Warren to Dallas.
because it's not likely because even if he was there at 12, they would pick Golden over him.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm like I said, this is the day before the draft. I kind of got my 5 people that I want them to pick, and this is in the first round, and that's the 3 receivers. That's Ted Egbuka and Golden,
Oh,
or
you
six.
like Burden too.
Oh yeah, but I'm gonna do 5, and if it's 5, you know what I'm saying, it's
Or you just talking
Golden.
about players?
Yeah, just players.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Ted, Golden, and Egbuka in no particular order, and then Josh Simmons and Tyler Booker. Those are, I mean, is that his first name? Yeah, Tyler Booker. Those 2 players are the 5 players that I feel like all of them gonna be there, if not one. The only one that's not gonna that might not be there is Ted. Everybody
Mm.
else is gonna be there.
And then if you can trade down to, let's scroll back down. If you can trade down to Seattle or you can trade down to Denver and still figure out a way to end up with Ibuka or just stretch and get Burden, that'd be great. And then if you trade down to 20 and you end up with Josh Simmons or Booker, that's a win. Just give me anybody but Shamar Stewart and Walter Nolan. And I don't even want them in a trade down.
I don't want them in a trade down, and I do want to trade down if Ted is gone. If Ted is gone, I'm trying to trade down, and if I can't
Well,
trade down, then I'm
yeah.
picking Golden or Ibuka.
And then the other thing that I'm kind of not really liking what I'm hearing is in the second round, we got people saying that we're going to take a corner. Again, that just doesn't, I
Makes
don't get that. In the second round, you should be hitting running back there. Now, if you want to go Tyreek Williams or Collins in the second round, to me, that makes sense. I don't see why if you're not taking Will Johnson in the first round, I don't understand why you're taking a corner in the second. Go to your corners.
And if you're taking a corner in the second round, it's only one corner that you can take in the second round.
And who is that? That's what I want to see.
Azrael.
Yeah, and then, but no, a lot of people have go to your corners.
Or Jade. He won't be there.
So
Okay.
your second round corners, I'm hearing a lot of smoke about Trey Amos. Let's look at Harrison, and Trey Amos,
Oh,
because
and I'm hearing a lot about Siobhan Revelle.
yeah, we gotta look at him too. So who is this?
This is Harrison. So on the side, oh wait a minute. I don't know if that's him or what.
I think that
No,
was him that made the tackle.
yeah. So he looks like to me like a Jordan Lewis kind of guy. He's shorter, smaller. He looks just like the guy that we drafted last year.
Which is who?
And we just
Carson?
yeah. Ain't they about the same size?
Mm-hmm.
So far, I mean, yeah.
So go to the next guy.
He just doesn't. He don't just pop off the screen to me like that. Let's see. Trey Amos. Been hearing a lot about Trey Amos. He don't even have a thing on here. So let's look at Siobhan Revelle. Because Trey Amos.
Now,
Yeah, this.
Siobhan Revelle, the thing
Yeah,
about him, he would be in the first round if he hadn't got hurt.
yeah, yeah. That's the only thing about Siobhan Revelle. He would have been. He hurt guy. But he go hard though. But I wouldn't be picking him in the second round, even though the Cowboys would do something like that.
Yeah, he's physical corner, obviously. So I mean, again, man, a lot of these guys, if we end up with them, cool. Let's line up and play, and we're gonna play well. We're gonna play good, and I have no doubt that he's gonna be a good player for us. But I just think we need to go running back in the second round. But the argument there is that it's so many backs. You don't have to take a back in the second round. So with that being the case, I'm trying to get like Tyleek Williams or one of your defensive linemen. We ain't got to watch a whole lot of him. We know exactly what you're getting with him. Now, if I took him in the second round, I ain't got no complaint because he just a player. But I don't think he's gonna be there when we pick.
Probably not.
So go back to that go back over here and click on those corners. So I think you got to look at who's down there. So you got Benjamin Morrison. Well, they got Azrael Thomas at 49. That's kind of low, so it's a possibility. But when you go past Azariah Thomas, there is nobody worth taking in the second round.
No.
There's just not. Now go on click on the running backs, and you're gonna see that.
Yeah. I'm willing to bet everything that I got that Cowboys are taking one of these players right here. They're gonna take
Junkins are not going to be there at 54.
No. But they both will be there when we pick.
And man, again,
now it's a fall off after that. Now after Quinton Junkins go, the rest of these guys are the same guy.
Then you're looking at Dylan Sampson as your third round pick. Ollie Gordon. I don't Scatterboo. I'm not a fan. RJ Harvey. So if the truth is
Martinez Cole,
you can get a back in the third and fifth, and you're gonna be solid.
Now,
what I don't want to see the Cowboys do, I don't want to see the Cowboys get goofy and come out of this draft with all these picks and just pick one running back.
I was just gonna say that. I want them to double dip.
Yeah, they should. They really should double dip at a receiver. I would just clear out our receiver room. I'm trying to redo that receiver room.
All these years, man, with Dan Quinn, all these years going back, we didn't have drafts where we take nothing but defensive players. We didn't have drafts like that. So now it's time. And
that's the point. Yeah, that's the point that HTM been making. But he's talking about offensive line. We pick a position as a franchise and we just kind of stay there or one side of the ball, and that's the problem the Cowboys have had with their drafts. That's the other problem I have is they don't draft to build a complete team. Mm-hmm. They'll take a position and just say we're not interested. They did that for years with safety. Mm-hmm. Then they did it with linebacker. Mm-hmm. Last couple of years, they just said we don't even care about running back.
And then check it out with the linebackers. Let's talk about this. It's even more pronounced because they drafted a linebacker and they moved Mike to the edge.
Yeah, so they need to just build a complete team from front to back. That's why I'm not having a problem if you take Will Johnson. I'm not having a problem if you take Jalen Walker.
Because he's the best players available.
Yeah, you just got to build your team no matter what the position is. And we don't have what's the problem with our team. It's just too many spots on our team where we're just shallow. Like, safety is kind of going back in that direction. With Hooker, he's just average as average can be these days. We've redoing the linebacker room.
No, so let me ask you this question because I just seen some breaking news on the Bleacher Report that says the Jags are eyeing Travis Hunter, and so let me ask you this: so
how are they gonna get him?
Well, that's what I was finna say. So what we see, are we seeing the Browns take a quarterback here? Is that what it is? Because
or Abdul Carter.
Oh man, that would be crazy for them to take Abdul Carter when they already got Garrett. But I mean, I don't know how this is gonna go. To me, I just don't think that Cam Ward will be the only quarterback taken that high. I mean, if that's the case, then I mean it's just like wow. If it really plays out like this and you don't get another quarterback picked until
now, what I heard today from a couple of people that I follow, your guy is sneaking up into the first round and moving up uh,
Well, that's what I was gonna put on here
Milrow.
too. Yeah,
So,
nah. We'll see. Let's put. That's what I was talking about earlier.
matter of fact, I do you one better. Here's something that I talked to. I talked to somebody. I keep saying talking. I tweeted with somebody today. It would not surprise me if, based on these this kind of dirt that they doing in Shador, with this one
Mhm.
general manager release a statement, or not release a statement, that's not correct. He put out something about he was the worst interview that Shador was the worst interview he's ever done. Did you see that?
Mhm.
So here's what I think could happen tomorrow. It would not shock me if we're sitting here in the green room, we're down to pick 20 something, and Shador is sitting there like Aaron Rodgers was, like Lamar Jackson was a few years ago. Remember that?
Like Randy
They were just
Gregory.
sitting there. Yeah.
Remember Randy
So,
Gregory?
well,
He was the last person up there.
I'm talking about quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't shock me, and where I'm going with this is when you get to Pittsburgh, it would not shock me if Pittsburgh takes Milrow over Shador.
Ooh, that would be
I would
dang. Oh
not be
man. Oh
shocked.
man. Now that right there. That would be shocking.
I wouldn't be, based on, I just think that it's a possibility.
Well, I mean that would be shocking. And then you look at you got. Hold on, real quick. Now you got Jalen Milrow on round 4 right here. This is Brian Broaddus's thing right here. So this,
He got him in round 4.
yeah, this is Brian Broaddus's thing right here. He got him in
Yeah,
round 4,
I don't
and
think
he
he's
got
going in 4.
yeah. Y'all have to excuse me. My son just bust up in here. Then we got running backs. He got Ashton Genty, Caleb Johnson in round 2, Marion Hampton
Well,
in
now,
round
how does he
3.
have this broken out? What are we looking at?
This is just Brian Broaddus's
Is this his board?
yeah. This is his board. His big board. This is just what he put out there. So he got. I mean, I mean, I disagree with a few things on here.
So,
You
like,
know,
I'm not sure what I'm looking at. So, round 1, he just has Ashton Genty. So,
so
what does
these are
that
the running
actually?
backs, and these are the rounds that he has them going in.
So he only has one running back in round 1.
This is
Okay, so
correct.
he's got the run. So these are all backs. I got you. I didn't know
Yeah.
what
So a
this
minute
was.
ago, this was all quarterback.
Okay, I got you.
So he got Cam in round 1. He got Shador in round 2. Jackson Darton is in round 2. He got Will Howard in round 3. He got Jalen Milrow in round 4. This is what I was saying. I was just like, the Cowboys. Jalen Milrow is sitting around in the fourth round. You should be taking him with your 3rd round pick if he's available over anybody.
He's not going in round 4. He's going to go the back end of the first, or he's going in the second.
Yeah, because if he's there in round 3, you take him over anybody.
But Dallas won't.
No, that's just stupid not to.
If they trade down and get an extra 3, I think they would consider it.
They was talking about that yesterday. You got to have somebody if Dak ain't good, and if Dak can't make it. I was just like praying to God that I really hope that they really mean that when they say that. You know what I
What do you
mean?
mean?
Because yesterday at the press conference, they said that Jerry said that you need to have a player ready to go if Dak is not healthy or if Dak gets injured.
Well, they
Like,
traded for the guy that they think is going.
nah, that's not gonna do it. They need to have somebody that can lead the team, because if Dak gets hurt again, that's probably it. You know what I'm saying? Like just like Tony
No,
Romo.
it's not it unless you just don't have a backup quarterback, and they got one now. But you're saying that Milrow is probably better than him, so I mean I can understand that. But if
Well,
they
what
have
I'm
to go
saying is,
to
I'm ready for them to
Milton,
get. No, I'm saying I want them to get the future quarterback, not
yeah,
just the backup. Like that, those are two different conversations.
you're forward thinking. That's what
Yeah.
most franchises would do, but that's not what they do.
Yeah, that's what they need to do. They need to be trying to take Milrow to be the next quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. That's what they should be trying to do.
They're not taking Milrow, and Milrow is going to be gone. And the real Milrow is not getting past the second round. I can promise you that. He might go to the Steelers at 21.
That's gonna be crazy. If Shador is still up there at the end of the night tomorrow, that's gonna be wild.
The NFL has done this to players. They just like to put players in their place, and it's a lot of these GMs. They don't like Deion. They don't like Shador. They ain't about that life. They ain't feeling it.
Yeah,
And
I
so,
understand.
but we're gonna see tomorrow. So we can go ahead and get ready to wrap. We done covered a lot actually in the amount of time we've been on. So you can get on, get your homework going, and we won't need to do no mocks because we
Nah,
done did enough of that. So we can go
yeah,
ahead and finish, wrap up, and
yeah, nah,
appreciate you, Tony. Tony Mitch. Is that our Tony?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
He said he want golden.
He like Golden.
Oh yeah, Tony been out here talking to.
Can't complain about Golden.
He said I'm with Mr. Clarkson, running back second round. Then he
Yep.
said maybe even third. Then he said we super mediocre at both safeties. I
Yep.
hey, I want what's my guy name? Mm, that I wouldn't be tripping if we got him. This is my guy right here. Malachi
Maybe.
Starks and Andrew Makuba.
Yeah.
So
Cowboys like Makuba. Now let me
yeah,
go back and correct what I said earlier. I make a correction.
shout
In
out
a
to you,
sec, in
Tony.
shout out to you, Tony. Um, if they took Makuba in the second round, I'm not mad.
No, me neither. Makuba is one of them ones.
Uncle Squeaky said they're gonna screw it up.
Yeah, he
If
said
they
that.
screwed if they screw this one up, Keith. I mean, but like I said, the only thing is Will McClay just signed a new contract. So, but they you really cannot mess up this draft. But if you take Shamar Stewart or Walter Nolan, that's a starting point, and then you just because you take Shamar Stewart and Walter Nolan, your second and third round pick are gonna be better than him.
Yeah,
I can
man, and
guarantee you right now.
we are in a situation where we cannot have a bad draft, guys. We cannot have a bad draft. We just
You see
can't.
the way Michael Irvin is looking over my shoulder right there. That's how we're gonna be looking tomorrow when they draft Shamar Stewart and Walter Nolan.
If they do that, I'm gonna knock. We're gonna knock on wood about that because they better not. You know what I mean?
Knock
It's
on
too
wood.
many. It's too many good players in this draft for them to mess it up. They can literally just go on Tankathon, close their eyes, and pick, and they will be okay. You know.
So there's some talk about trades, as we close. Cortland Sutton, obviously, still, we talking about now. There's a receiver from Detroit, Jameson Williams.
Oh my God. Let me tell you
I,
something. If tomorrow we get to the pick number 12 and they say the Dallas Cowboys are trading a first round pick for Jameson Williams, I'm not tripping.
I wouldn't trade a first for him.
I mean, I don't know why. He just like he's good.
No, I'm keeping my pick. They can have a fifth.
Oh no, you're not gonna get no fifth for Jameson Williams.
I'm be real. A
You
third?
might
Oh
you
man,
might
I
get
don't know.
you might get a fifth for you might
I'm
get a
not
fifth
trading my
for
one.
no,
Mm-mm.
they wouldn't either. But I'm just saying he's one of those type of players to where that's like a big deal. That's a big deal. That's like trading for one of the best receivers in the league.
He's a good. I like him. I would take him over George Pickens
Yeah, he
every
top
day and
10.
twice on
I want to
Sunday.
say he top 10, I think.
But
I think
what
he
happens is on trades like that, when he get traded, it's gonna be for something minimal. It's not gonna
yeah,
be for a lot.
it is. No, it'll be for a lot if it's the Cowboys.
I'll say this right here: if we had our fourth pick instead of Mingo, I would look at that.
Yeah.
But,
I look at it, hey, like I said, the upside you get for doing something like that is major. You don't just, that's not like a fifth round pick type of deal. That's not like Stephon Diggs or Amari Cooper or Keenan Allen, nothing like that. That's trading for a team's best receiver.
well, their best receiver is Amon St. Brown.
Well,
Remember, but
Amon St. Brown, they back to back.
yeah, but yeah, I like him. So he's rumored to be someone that Detroit is looking at doing. So, but yeah, but okay, well, shoot, we can go ahead and you see any other headlines before we log off? So tomorrow we're gonna start at 7.
Right when the draft start. Yeah. Anyway,
Right, well,
yeah,
we're gonna cover it. We're gonna be on and cover
I take
the.
that back. I wouldn't trade no first round pick for no for Gary. But I mean, I'm just saying he wanted them ones.
Jameson Williams, yeah.
Jameson Williams, he wanted them ones. So, but yeah, we appreciate everybody. I know our nerves are super up there. So we're gonna be live tomorrow. We're gonna be at 7 o'clock. We're gonna have the same setup probably, and we're gonna just be watching the draft. We're gonna be talking about the draft and who's all gonna be falling and who's all gonna be where. And then after we make the pick, Then we'll go into talking about the player that we picked and how they're gonna, how they're going to affect our team in a good or bad way. Hopefully, it's a good way. And then also, we gonna kind of pivot and we're gonna kind of listen to what the nation is saying about it. Uh what about German just texted me and threw me off. Uh
Jeremy,
yeah, he talking about Shannon Sharp. Let's see.
tell Jeremy he need to join. Has Jeremy been on yet? He need to join,
Yeah.
sign in and log in tomorrow.
Yeah, he do. He watch every
So
show.
yeah, you need to reach out to all our peeps tomorrow, all your cousins and all your crew, and tell them to log on to our show tomorrow.
Yeah. Iman, you need to log on tomorrow. Um I told Iman he can come on with us tomorrow. You need to log on, bro. And then let's see. So yeah, we'll listen to the fan and see what Broadus and them is saying about it. And we'll check out Law Nation, see what Law's saying about it. Check out Mark Holmes and check out everybody that's on Boss. We'll check out, see what they saying about it. You know what I'm saying? And then so that's what we're gonna do tomorrow. Tomorrow is a big day. And so we'll see y'all tomorrow at 7 o'clock sharp. And we will be live. So all you gotta do is hit the notification bell and look, and when the draft come on, check us out. So we'll be on. So shout out to everybody that tune in tonight, and shout out to everybody that we're gonna see tomorrow. So we'll catch y'all on the next one, and we'll see y'all tomorrow.